the icon seeing finalists right here in studio. But let's move on. It's about time we have the highly acclaimed Mind Your Language with none other but the one and only Willice, the word master, joining us from Kisumu. Willice, a very good evening to you. Always a pleasure to have you with us right here on the Friday briefing. Hope you had a fantastic week. Looking forward, of course.
Since I just felt I should also say something small, but saying it in a way that will surprise you, Jesse and Ashley together. You know, have you heard, "This world is not my home, I'm just a passerby," or just passing by for that matter? Have you heard that? Jim Reeves.
Yes, Willice.
I've just tried because what I've listened to tonight, oh, I have to salute all those talents, Jesse.
Amazing, Willice. We'll definitely get you and Ashley to do a quartet maybe. But anyway, let's take a look at word on the street right before we continue with the collections of the week.
Vinaigrette.
Vinaigrette. Vinaigrette. 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 Vinaigrette. Vinaigrette. Vinaigrette. Vinaigrette.
Vinaigrette. Vinaigrette. Vinaigrette. Vinaigrette. Vinaigrette. Vinaigrette.
Vinaigrettes. Vinaigrettes. Vinaigrettes.
Vinaigrette. 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 Vinaigrette.
Vinaigrette. Vinaigrette. Vinaigrette.
Vinaigrette. Vinaigrette. Vinaigrette.
All right, that's quite a mouthful word, Willice. Now, let me just pass it over to you. Vinaigrette, vinaigrette, vinaigrette. Kindly tell us what it means first, as well as the proper pronunciation.
Well, Jesse, it has been a night of humorous learning because the first man to try, in fact, I would say he killed it humorously. But that being that, in fact, this word refers to a mixture of oil, vinegar, and various herbs used to add flavor to a salad. Now, it's also known as French dressing, and you say vinaigrette. Vinaigrette. That A is silent, so you say vinaigrette. And an example is, you can say, the French tourists always ask for vinaigrette once they arrive at the hotel.
All right, amazing, Willice. We'll definitely keep that in mind. Let's take a look at the collections of the week. The very first word is something that is concise, you know, shortly and briefly expressed, especially when it's written or spoken. S-U-C-C-I-N-T. I'm sure there is a catch right there. Tell us about it, Willice.
Yes, that one you say succinct. Succinct. Suck, and then you have that stress, cinct. Succinct.
Succinct.
Just like you'd talk of somebody giving a succinct explanation.
All right, succinct explanation. Now over to the next word, deviate from a set of rules or an agreed form of behavior. Is it derogate, derogate? How do you pronounce it?
Just I always say when you start speaking English, you know, sometimes that taste just comes, you know, naturally, and that is because of the good pronunciations and that wonderful accent. When you give it out and then Ashley comes in, that is where the taste also comes in with the punch. So when I talk like that, Jesse, I mean, you've got it right. You say derogate. To derogate. That is a verb. But remember, we say derogatory, not derogatory. Derogatory. But the verb is derogate.
All right, over to the next word. This time it's an adverb. It's used to say what you think it's a likely situation. You know, example there, presumably anticipating the Mind Your Language segment on Friday briefing. So is it presumably, presumably? How do you pronounce it?
You say presumably, 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 because letter S takes the voiced sound Z, and that E takes the short sound E. So you say presumably. So you can say the stranger or the stranger is presumably a criminal. So it's presumably.
All right, now the next word is used to refer to a drunkard or an alcoholic. Dipsomaniac. I hope I pronounced it correctly this time round as well.
Oh, that is the word, dipsomaniac. Now, dipsomaniac, no, dipsomaniac. And this word is becoming quite popular on Mind Your Language. So you say maniac. The problem there is many people, when we see the word M-A-N-I-A-C as a word, many people think it's maniac. And when we have this one, also somebody would say dipsomaniac, which is not the case. You say mania, maniac, and dipsomaniac.
Maniac, dipsomaniac. All right, now the next word
Yes.
is a daily record of events, you know, or news of a personal nature. Is it a journal, a journal? How do you pronounce it? It's a noun, right?
Oh, the way you said it at first, journal. That J-O-U-R has what we call the long made central sound, j. Just like you say journey, I'm going for a journey, not a journey. You say journal, not a journal. And Jesse, you also say journalese, journalese. Journalism or journalism, you also say journalist, not journalist. Journalistic, not journalistic. So J-O-U-R takes the sounding j.
All right, Willis, over to the next word. Quite mouthful. Z-Y-M-U-R-G-Y, the study of fermentation either in brewing or winemaking. How do you pronounce it?
Oh, that is a tricky one, but you say zymagy. Zymagy. The U and R, you know, we call that one in orthography. And when I talk about orthography, Jesse, I'm talking about spelling. And when we have U and R in certain words, we have it as what we call a digraph, a combination of two letters representing one sound. Now, U and R in this word represents the long made central sound zymagy, zymagy. Don't say zimagy, zimuji, you say zymagy.
Zymagy, okay. The next word means a slaughterhouse.
Yes.
Not frequently used, but very important as well. Abattoir, how do you pronounce it, Willis?
Yes. Exactly the way you said it at first. You say abattoir, abattoir.
Okay, now the next word, a long cry by an animal. Many have varied views about this. Is it a howl or a hole?
Now, Jesse, what happens to many people when they see this word? Some of us may think of the word bowl, a bowl, B-O-W-L, bowl. But this one, H-O-W-L, you say howl, to howl. In fact, it's a verb and it's to make a long, loud cry. So you say the animal howled, not hold, and you don't say whole for this word. So the pronunciation is howl. It has what we call a diphthong ow that glide on two vowel sounds. Howl, not whole.
Okay. Now, showing courage or determination.
Yes.
Is it valiant, valiant? How do you pronounce it, Willis?
Oh, you say valiant. Valiant. Letter A takes what we call the low front sound A, the first A, va, not ve, valiant. But now that we have this word Jesse, I would also wish to share with our dear viewers the fact that we don't say stature, you say stature, not stature. You also say vala, vala, not vela. So our word which you've just talked about is valiant.
Valiant, stature. Thank you, Willice. Now, let's take a look at some of the feedback we got from our loyal viewers and those you get to interact on a day-to-day basis, including the other surprise words you have for us.
Yes. Yes, and if you may allow me to correct something small, Jesse, I said stature, stature. Many people find themselves saying stature, but we say stature, yes, that way. Now, I go straight to one Mohammed Ahmed of Mandera. Mohammed, you say camel, a camel, not camel, camel. You have that consonant cluster of mul. But if you can't produce that mul, you can say mol with a weak or intrusive sound o. So you say camel or camel, ngamia. Then Thomas Lenny Mwangi of Nairobi, you say prejudice, not prejudice. Precipice, not precipice or precipice. And then you say premise, premise, not premise or premise. Premise, precipice, and prejudice. Thomas Lenny Mwangi of Nairobi, keep it up. And this is KTN for you every Friday night when it comes to the issue of pronouncing words correctly or in an acceptable, or if you like, an accurate way. We have Edith Shamola. Hey, your words are big, my dear sister. You have big words here. You say seborrheic, that is your first word. Second one, dermatitis. Then the third one is fairly simple. You say furious. To be furious with somebody or to be furious over something. Now, Nelson Kiprotich of Mombasa, you say devise. Devise, the one with C. But the one with an S, you say devise. To devise something or to devise a method, but gadget, you say device, a device. Then your next word is profit, profit. Then we have Nancy Kambi of Kericho, or you're talking about what is on in South Africa, you say xenophobia, xenophobia. That X takes the sound Z like a Z, xenophobia. Then we have Mwalimu Samuel Ogutu Omwanda and Bernard Omondi Alo of Magongo Primary School, Uriri Sub-County in Migori County. You say rapport, not rapport. Then we have rapporteur, not rapporteur. Rapporteur, that is how you pronounce that word in English. And your last word, you say tortoise. Tortoise is a bit tricky because as we grow up, many people just hear of the mispronunciation tortoise. Tortoise, very common but inaccurate. You say tortoise, that is Kobe. Zakina Baraka of Kilifi, Pwani, you say overzealous. Overzealous, don't say overzealous. We have zeal, Z-E-A-L, zeal. But you say zealous, zealot, and overzealous, not overzealous. Then we have Ivy Mogire. Ivy Mogire of St. Charles Luanga Ichuni Girls Secondary School or high school. I don't know whether it's secondary or high, but basically when we talk about high school and secondary, we are talking about the same thing. Now, from St. Charles Luanga Ichuni, Ivy Mogire, you say Orai. That is A-W-R-Y. Orai. Don't say Ori. Then Bilia Omwebu and Kennedy of Kilgoris, you say Oriole and bodies. Don't say bodies. Bodies. Finally, Patino Buketo of Kigali, Rwanda, you say diaspora. I don't know why many people find themselves saying diaspora. Diaspora is what we see. That is the spelling of that word. But you start by saying diaspora, not diaspora. Then we would go straight now to the surprise word for tonight. And this is the word. Many people, after seeing this word, or when they see this word, they find themselves saying ameliorate. Ameliorate? No. And in the first place, this word means to make something better. And you say ameliorate, ame. This E takes the long sound E. Ameliorate, not ameliorate. And you can say to ameliorate a situation, that is to make it better. And you also say deteriorate, deteriorate, a very tricky word. In fact, ameliorate and deteriorate are somehow, tongue twisters, but if you take your time, you would pronounce them. So try there at home or wherever you're watching us from, you say ameliorate. Secondly, deteriorate. Don't say deteriorate, deteriorate, deteriorate. No, deteriorate, deteriorate. Now, we have confusing words and they're fairly simple but tricky. The upper one is a noun. It has a C. You say advise. Can I have some advice from you? Advice, a piece of advice. But when you come to the lower one, this is a verb. You say advise with the voiced sound Z for letter S. To advise somebody. But the upper one, advise. Similarly, you say, the way I said when we had that question that came from somebody, I think from Kilifi or wherever, it was devise and devise. Remember, you also have practice with C and practice with S, but you pronounce them just the same way. To practice with S, that is in British English, but when we have the noun, you say practice. It has a C, so the two are pronounced the same way. Don't say practice. You say practice, the one with an S, and then practice, the one with a C. A bit tricky, but you have to get it right. Now, viewers of KTN, every Friday, during Friday briefing, and especially this segment, Mind Your Language, gives you a chance to know the phonetic symbols, which are commonly used in dictionaries or other reference materials, always to give you the pronunciation guides. So, when you see such a symbol in a dictionary or any other reference material, you should know that this is the symbol or the phonetic symbol that represents the mid-central sound that is the short one. The short mid-central sound Now, you see, it's like what we call an inverted V. A V upside down. Just like in the word fun, fun, sun, sun, none, none, some, some. So, that vowel sound in all these words and several other words in the English vocabulary, you'll find them with the mid-central sound but you only get it on KTN every Friday night. Otherwise, that is about it from Kisumu for tonight. I'm Willice Ochieng, and you can always interact with me throughout the week on Twitter, and the handle is at Willice Ochieng 1. Otherwise, I'm taking you back to Nairobi where we have the hot stuff. When I say the hot stuff, I'm not talking about S-T-U-F-F. I'm talking about S-T-A-F-F, the hot duo of Jesse and Ashley. Back to you, my dear brother and sister.
Well, thank you, Willis. Have yourself a good night. You're hot as well. All right, now, Ashley.
Wait, what? His hot stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.